Let's be honest. Nobody actually wants to spend 40 years trading their best hours for a mediocre paycheck and a lukewarm cup of break room coffee. We all want the exit ticket. Here are the 9 paths people are taking to get rich, ranked from the most predictable to the absolute Wild West. First up is the easiest play in the book, the genetic jackpot. If you didn't set this up before you were born, tough luck, you missed the registration deadline. This archetype didn't stay up late coding. They didn't pitch to investors. They didn't even fill out a job application. Think of the real-world Rothschilds or heirs to tech fortunes who spawn into a family tree that already owns half a zip code. It's the ultimate life cheat code. You wake up on a private estate, a personal chef is making your breakfast, and your biggest daily stressor is that the yacht's Wi-Fi is buffering. Psychologists love to talk about the burden of unearned wealth. They say it ruins your drive and leaves you with an existential crisis because you never had to try. But let's keep it real. Existential dread is a lot easier to manage when you're dealing with it from the leather seat of a customized hypercar on your way to a private beach club. Number 2, the spreadsheet sniper. If you weren't born into a fortune, you might have to try the traditional route, the spreadsheet sniper. This path has a near 100% success rate, assuming you don't mind trading the best years of your youth for a shiny gold watch when your knees no longer work. The spreadsheet sniper is the definition of corporate compliance. They read books by legendary index fund pioneers like John Bogle, secure a cubicle at a mid-tier consulting firm, and immediately automate their entire existence. While their coworkers are financing BMWs and drowning in credit card debt just to flex on Instagram, the spreadsheet sniper lives like a fugitive. They are quietly funneling 30% of their salary into boring, broad market index funds tracking the S&P 500. They play the ultimate compounding interest waiting game. They drive a dented 2012 sedan, pack a soggy turkey sandwich for lunch every single day, and treat a basic streaming subscription like a major financial splurge. By the time they hit 65, that agonizingly slow, snowy hill of investments has finally turned into a multi-million-dollar avalanche. They didn't get rich fast. In fact, they spent 40 years missing out on every fun party and spontaneous vacation, but they got rich guaranteed. It's safe, it's entirely predictable, and it lets you retire just in time to watch the sunset from the porch of a nursing home. Number 3, the degenerate day trader. Some people don't have 40 years to spare. Enter the degenerate day trader. This person looks at the financial markets not as a long-term wealth generator, but as a high-stakes digital casino. Think back to the Wall Street bets era, where teenagers would take their entire savings account, dump it into a highly volatile options contract or a micro-cap meme token with a ridiculous ticker, and watch the chaos unfold. They apply maximum financial leverage, essentially borrowing massive amounts of money they don't actually have, and bet it all on a single technical chart pattern they saw on a forum at 3 a.m. 99% of the time, this ends in total financial ruin. They wipe out their entire portfolio in a single afternoon. But that remaining 1%? They hit the perfect wave. The chart goes vertical. In 48 hours, a $1,000 bet turns into $2 million. They didn't build anything. They didn't create real value. They just successfully played financial Russian roulette and walked away with the prize. Number 4, the IP Titan. Next up is the true entrepreneur, the IP Titan. They don't trade hours for dollars, and they don't rely on luck. They build intellectual property that scales infinitely. Think about founders who start with a basic idea, build a unique digital tool or a scalable software as a service application, and watch it explode globally. Because it's digital, it costs almost nothing to serve the 10 millionth customer compared to the first. They build a moat of true value, accumulate massive equity, and eventually sell the entire company to a tech conglomerate or take it public for hundreds of millions of dollars. This is one of the hardest paths on the list, requiring relentless leadership, capital, and massive risk tolerance. But it's the only path that creates generational wealth out of absolute thin air. Number 5, the attention alchemist. Then we have the wildest financial anomaly of the modern internet era, the attention alchemist. This archetype understands that in the current economy, eyeballs are worth far more than traditional commodities. Look at someone like Sophie Rain, who famously went viral and revealed she pulled in a mind-boggling $43 million in a single year on OnlyFans, leaving people stunned when her digital earnings practically went toe-to-toe with the actual NBA salary of LeBron James. It is absolute marketing and algorithmic wizardry. Whether it's viral short-form content creators or high-earning digital stars, they know how to capture the internet's brief attention span and monetize it at an industrial scale. The old-school establishment might criticize it, but while critics are analyzing the ethics of the creator economy, these digital content pioneers are literally laughing their way to the bank with sports star-level wealth. Number 6. The extreme minimalist. If you want to beat the capitalist system without making millions, you become the extreme minimalist. This person figured out the ultimate financial math hack. Society can't trap you in a cage if you refuse to buy the bars. Think of the radical extreme of the FIRE movement. Financial independence, retire early. While the rest of the world is trapped in a brutal, soul-crushing cycle of earning more money just to buy bigger houses and flashier cars to impress strangers they don't even like, the minimalist steps completely off the wheel. They look at modern consumerism and say, no thanks. They buy a tiny home the size of a tool shed, install solar panels, collect rainwater, and grow their own vegetables. They ruthlessly cut their monthly living expenses down to virtually zero, opting out of every single bill, subscription, and societal expectation. By refusing to participate in the consumer rat race, they achieve total, absolute freedom in their mid-20s. They don't have a boss to answer to, they don't have a 30-year mortgage hanging over their head, and they have zero financial anxiety. Wall Street wouldn't consider them rich, but because they own 100% of their time and answer to absolutely no one, they are fundamentally wealthier than the exhausted corporate executives driving Porsches to a job they hate. Number 7, the master of one. Then we have the most respected path, the master of one. This is traditional meritocracy at its absolute peak. You pick a highly specific, incredibly difficult skill, and you become better at it than 99.9% of the global population. But here is the catch. To get rich, the scale of your industry matters just as much as your talent. Look at the legendary pool player Efren Reyes. He is universally considered the magician and the absolute undisputed greatest of all time in the sport of pool, yet his lifetime net worth sits around $2 million. Now contrast that with the top-tier stars in global sports like LeBron James, who commands $100 million contracts, or elite neurosurgeons and high-stakes corporate defense attorneys. Drop a comment below and tell me which archetype fits your current strategy. And if you want to see us break down the darkest secrets next, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.